Goddamn Pepsi, killing me. I opened my short way too early. Should have waited for this trend test here. I didn't think it would make it through this pivot. I was looking for like kind of a head and shoulders. But it broke through. Pretty strong momentum on the Momo. I should have known who's going to be able to break it. The market's also doing very good. So big blue chip stocks are going to do well here. Alright, it's coming into that daily trend line here. We'll see what it does. It's also coming into the daily trail pretty soon. Failing that trend line perfectly so far. We're up about 30% on Starbucks, but we're also down 30% on Pepsi, so kind of eating into our own profits. Yeah, turn this alert off here since we're not in the morning anymore. There we go, Pepsi's starting to fail. This is where I should have entered my short. I could add on to it here, but be a little risky since the markets are still very green. And Pepsi's a big blue chip company. Blue chips are going to follow the overall market for the most part. If it doesn't start to break down below 129 before the end of the day, I'm probably going to close it. I do want to see this next hourly start to break down. This is where I entered. So I entered a little early, obviously. I was too focused on the lower time frames. I should be trading the 4-hour setups. Starbucks still doing good here. Starting to pull back a little bit of profit taking. That's okay. As long as we stay above our trail. We have broken this downtrend and we have continued our uptrend. Pepsi's starting to pull back. Car looks really good. We haven't got filled on car yet. What's my current bid on car? I might have to pull my bid up a little bit. Doesn't show my current trade. My current bid is 50 cents. Okay, let me see. Raised my bid a little bit. "45 minutes until the 4-hour closes on Bitcoin." "5 minutes starting to roll over a little bit for Starbucks. Not too bad though. Rolling over for Pepsi as well. The market's also starting to consolidate here. Looks like everything's starting to consolidate towards the end of the day. Here we go. Here's the sell-off we wanted to see. This is where we should be entering our short on Pepsi. I should have waited. This was a mistake on my part. Patience was not key here. Or patience was key here. I was not very good on being patient for my entry. I'm already down 25%. I could be entering here, so a little bit of a misplay. Still like the short, just got in too early. I could average into it though, I could. I don't like that the 4 hour closed above the trail though. If it retraces below the trail, I might add on to it. My break even's still really close to price, so not worried about it. Only 1% down. What is my break even for Starbucks? I think it's 95. Let me see. Yeah, 95.05. And what is my break even for Pepsi? Break even for Pepsi is 128. 128.48. So very close to current price. Let me change this color here. I'll make this blue. This is where I entered. The time and the price. So as you can see, I shorted right when it started to fail here. But then it came right back up. Had a little bit of a bottom reversal. Bitcoin's starting to move a little bit here. We have the first black 4 hour candle. So if it closes like this, I'm going to take a small short here. Put my stop loss above the swing high. And then I'm going to let it play out on the trend. 40 minutes until close, though. Hoping it doesn't nuke before the close. I really hope I get filled on car here. Car looks really good. What's the market doing here? Just consolidating. We have about 40 minutes left.
Back.
What's going on? Pepsi failed that daily trend. This is where I should have entered my short. I'd be sitting pretty here if I shorted this. A lot better stop loss. Just wasn't patient enough. There's not a lot of buy volume on these candles. That's why I'm not too worried about it pushing up, but it needs to start pulling back because we're getting pretty close to my expiration. $35 left on the 4-hour. Ooh, the weekly's a fucking massive dragonfly hammer. Not pretty.
Yeah, the weekly is pretty ugly. You got a red Kuma coming up on the daily, tagging the baseline as resistance.
Just betting on this downtrend holding. This downtrend is pretty strong. One hour is looking really good. I have a gravestone. Needs to fall down a little bit more. $15-minute inverted hammer there. That's interesting. The 4-hour candle on Bitcoin closes in 30 minutes. The 4-hour candle on stocks doesn't close for another 2 hours. Because the 4 hours are lined up at 9:30, I'm guessing, when the market opens. Starbucks looking like a really clean uptrend here. Car is literally picture perfect. I raised my bid on car. I'm trying to get filled. The picture perfect trend test. If it has a sharp bounce like we saw on these ones too, it's going to be really good. Probably 35 to 36. That'd be like my basic target there.
Yeah, about November 15th calls. Oh fuck, I put September in the
Not sure, what did I buy? Let me see. I bought September. I'm going for more of a quick bounce. Pepsi's still recovering. It's following the market here. Overall market's getting ready to fill its gap.
So used to buying September contracts. I forgot about November.
Yeah, I like playing pretty close. Most of my contracts are for August or September.
I bought the November ones because of the earnings play.
Pepsi's losing steam here. Busy looking at the 1 minute on Pepsi when I entered. Should have zoomed out to like the 15 minute. It actually gave a buy signal. Definitely a big mistake. This 15-minute trail is pretty clean on Pepsi. Needed to shift black, shift red. Momo's still bullish. Basically counter traded the indicators on this one on accident again. That's my biggest mistake. Not watching the right time frames. Would have actually been a really good long. The daily trail at 130. And the 72 moving average. And this 1 hour pivot are basically the last things I'm looking at. If it breaks through these, I'm getting out. What's irritating is I had alerts set to short this right here. 129.39 and then 130. I shorted too early. I shorted at 128. Just impatient. If anybody's typing in chat, I can't see it. I don't know if my restream's working or not. I think chat might just be dead today. This Oracle trade was beautiful. AMD is killing it. AMD just tapped my level to the dollar, or to the penny. Neo's pulling back a little bit.
Yeah, it is. But bunch of Japanese Mitsubishi hedge funds just loaded up at this level.
JP Morgan is a beautiful dragonfly here on the daily. Already kind of played out though. You could have longed it yesterday. Weekly hammer giving you a buy signal. Carnival sitting on a weekly pivot here. Alright, Pepsi's distributing here, so looking good. Market pushing higher here. Gonna try to fill this gap. 248.30 is where it ends. Bitcoin pushing lower. Bounced off that level. Once you lose this level, it's donezo. 11,475. Took a great trade on Starbucks and then took a shitty trade on Pepsi and took all my profit. It's basically been the name of this whole week. Took a bunch of great trades and then I let Disney take all my profit. It's alright, Disney's never gonna happen again because I'm not gonna trade earnings. And then Pepsi was just me being impatient, so I was gonna work on that. Pepsi's moving here. Following the market. Do not short blue chip stocks when the market is moving. Not a good idea.
I feel like longing TRX. Tell me not to.
What's TRX?
Tron?
Oh, you're talking about Tron, or you're talking about a stock. Let's take a look. I'm waiting for all of these to turn green on the OTS. Once they turn green, I'm gonna start longing them. Right now, they're just all bleeding. The OTS gave you such fucking clean trades. Down 15%, 33%. BCH is bouncing off a pivot. Yeah, they're starting to give bull divs, so they're gaining momentum to the upside. Looks like Bitcoin's trying to move here. I'm just waiting for the 4 hour to close. Don't fucking nuke it before this 4 hour closes. 16 minutes. I might have to get in a little early because it looks like it's going to try to nuke it. This is such a terrible place to short. I wish I would have seen this turn black earlier. I would have shorted higher. Fucking Pepsi, man. It's killing me.
I'm gonna start scaling in a little bit on these alt positions. To like 10% size on each.
Pepsi looked like such a good short. And it just fucking mooned. Jesus, what are the markets fucking moving here? Pepsi is just 100% following the market here. The market is killing my Pepsi trade. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do that again. I'm not shorting blue chips when the market is kicking ass. It just drags these blue chips around.
Bitcoin might nuke this 4-hour close.
I know, I'm hoping it doesn't. I want to get in here before, like right on the close. You got to pivot here on the 5. Right on the trail on the 4-hour too. I want to give it like one last chance to do like one scam bounce. But the one time you try to get a scam bounce, it's not going to do it. I should actually enter before the close because of funding. I'll get paid funding. I went ahead and entered like 30%, 40%. Gonna add on to it once it bounces after funding. There we go, Pepsi's retracing. Starbucks and Pepsi are like following each other 100% almost. So my positions are like break even. Up 30%, down 30%. I don't really want to day trade Pepsi though. I want to see how it reacts, but with how it's moving right now, it could definitely gap up tomorrow, which is scary. If it gaps up tomorrow, it's going to hurt. Definitely going to hurt. I knew I was trading against the daily Momo on this. It was like the one thing I was okay with trading against. Everything else was bearish. The daily Momo is bullish. Like I always used to say, never trade against the Momo. And I'm getting killed because of it. Four-hour Momo is about ready to cross on Starbucks. It should moon it when it does. Daily's getting ready to cross as well. Daily's triggering a bear trap. Looks beautiful. I like this price action. We just need to fail down a little bit more. What's Bitcoin doing? Let's see. Bitcoin's buy signal turned off. You're getting ready to close below the trail. It closes below the trail, it's gonna die. Gonna see a lot of shorts come in here. Funding is in 7 minutes. It's pretty high too, it's 0.09. It's a little bit over a market fee, so if you mark it in right now, you're basically gonna get your money back on your funding rebate.
Filled on my Deribit, re-entered on perpetual.
A lot of sells coming in, people trying to collect funding. You probably will see a funding bounce once funding is paid. And that's what I'm anticipating. I want to add on to my short once it bounces. Market closes in 6 minutes. I'm going to hold on to Pepsi. Worst case scenario, it gaps up tomorrow into strength if the market continues. If the market gaps up tomorrow, Pepsi will probably gap up as well. It's been following the market almost 1-to-1. I'm going to hold on to it though. I like my short. I was just way too early. This pink line is my break even, so we still have some time to get back below my break even before the expiration. If it continues to climb tomorrow and gets above 130, I'm going to let it go. I was originally going to let it go above 129, but then I saw this trend line on the daily. This trend line on the daily here, along with the daily trail and the 72 moving average. So there's a lot of resistance up here around 130. So I'm going to give it some more room. But if it does gap up above 130, I'm probably going to let it go. Like I said, Starbucks is basically following Pepsi 1-to-1. So it's just killing my profits on Starbucks. Basically like I didn't trade today. Took a trade on Starbucks, took a trade on Pepsi. Well, Starbucks we actually took yesterday. But they are hand in hand. Wish car would pull back a little bit so it'll fill my bid. It's not going to fill it. It's going to get canceled. It's going to gap up tomorrow. Market closes in 2 minutes. Funding is paid in 2 minutes on Bitcoin. You do have a buy signal here. I think you will see a bounce to probably like 11,760, 11, maybe 11,8 because of funding. We'll see. If the bulls don't have any strength right after funding, they're probably not going to buy it. Because that's when they would come in. You've got 1 minute left. I like the 4-hour close, or this isn't the 4-hour close on Pepsi, but it is the... See, that's weird. This 4-hour closes, or the market closes before the 4-hour candle closes. Because the market's only open from 9:30 to 4. So it actually closes with an hour 30 left on the 4-hour candle. That's interesting. So some of these 4-hour candles are actually not 4-hour candles. They're actually 3-hour, like 3.5-hour candles. Or not even 3.5, they're 2.5-hour candles. That's interesting. So maybe the 3-hour candles are more accurate. No, because then you get a candle closed. You get a candle closed with only 30 minutes. Maybe that's because of the gap. It's not because of the gap. It's because of the market opens at 9:30, closes at 4. So you don't have 12 hours. Because 12 hours would be 444, right? So you have two 4-hour candles, and then you have a 2.5-hour candle. Because how long is the market open? 9:30 to 4 would be 6.5 hours, right? Yeah, so it is still moving. Yeah, you're right. It does form a gap. So yes, it does form a gap. Sorry. So from when the 4-hour candle closes to when the next 9:30 candle opens, you are going to get a gap. What I was saying was this candle, if you're not looking at extended hours, this candle only has 2.5 hours. Sorry, what did we say? 2.5 hours? Yeah, 2.5 hours of data. So instead of seeing 4 hours worth of data, which we see in this candle, and we see in this candle, right? Or sorry, this candle and this candle. I'm fucking confusing myself at this point. But one of these candles just doesn't have as much data as you would think by just looking at it. Exactly, that's the advantage of tick charts. Yeah, tick charts or like Renko or range bars, stuff like that. But alright, so we are still in Pepsi, still in Starbucks. They're basically the same. They're basically the same exact profit and loss. So we'll see how it goes tomorrow. I'm hoping Starbucks gaps up, but the thing is, if Starbucks gaps up, Pepsi is probably going to gap up. So these things are going to basically cancel each other out the entire time. Alright, so we got our 4-hour close on Bitcoin. It's our first black bar since way back here on July 30th. So if we look back and we backtest the first black bar, it has a very high strike rate. The first black bar off an uptrend, killed it. First black bar, killed it. This was more of a pullback, but I guess you could count that. That was a losing trade. Off of an uptrend here, first black bar, you dumped. First black bar, dumped. This was a pullback. So when the trend rolls over, these first black bars are very strong. The same thing here. Trend is rolling over. First black bar. So that is why I took my short here. I do think we have a possibility of having a bounce here. But it has to bounce like right now, within like 2 to 3 hours. Because this is when the bulls would come in. Once the bulls paid funding, they would come in after the funding. So, sorry, I mean, once the bears got paid, the bulls would come in. Because now they don't have to worry about paying funding. So all the big orders would come in now. So if we don't see any big buys coming in here, it's going to die. And it's already looking pretty bad. Predicted funding is pretty good in 16 hours. It's 0.08. Predicted funding in 8 hours is only 0.03, so it's pretty standard. Ethereum funding is not that bad. It's 0.07 and then 0.037, so not bad on Ethereum. I want to add on another piece to my short here, but I really hate shorting bottoms. That's why I'm not a breakout trader, because you have to short bottoms and buy tops. But it is definitely looking like it's going to die here. You're not seeing any buy pressure come in. It's getting wrecked here. Yeah, I'm going to add on another piece here. 1 hour turning black gave you a great sell signal right up here. I'm not going to add any more for a breakout. I'm saving the rest of my ad for a bounce.
Did you get that spread on Uber?
No, I didn't get filled.
It would be looking pretty good right now.
Yeah, I didn't get filled. It's fucking irritating. I didn't get filled on car. Let me see. I've got a few open orders. They're going to get canceled here in like 20 minutes. I didn't get filled on Uber or car. They're both going to get canceled at 4:30. I'm going to have to retry again tomorrow. I'll try again for both of them as long as they don't move heavily. If car gaps up, I'll probably have to look at a longer term play. Once it breaks this wick here, you should see a lot of sell pressure. I'm so tired of seeing all these shitcoin charts on Huobi. It's like people are trying to create alt season by trading the absolute bottom of the barrel shitcoins. Talk about gambling. Still no close below that wick. The Momo trend is at 11.6. Once this loses 10, Bitcoin will die. If it doesn't lose 10, you're going to see a bull or a bear trap. I'm predicting a little bit of a scam move up here. It's going to pump up and then dump down really quickly. What's the gap on December? Still $400? You have a $400 premium on December. Could definitely short December as well. I might put part of my position in December just to play the gap. The September premium is only $200. The September to December premium is $200 as well. So the only outlier is the perpetual to December. If this gap closes, you'll make very good money on a short. Most of the time when you see a premium on a December contract or a far out contract, if it closes, it's going to be more often than not coming from the premium side. So you can close and come from the perpetual side. So if perpetual rises and December stays flat or December rises but slower, you'll still close the gap. But more often than not, from what I've seen, if the far out contract has a premium, it usually will close to the downside. Here come the bulls that I was talking about. You've got 3 million on the bid here. We can jump in and take a look at Bookmap. Haven't pulled this up in a while. It looks like you don't really have a big support until like 11.5. 11.5, 11.480, 11.450. You don't have a ton of resistance until 11.650. Which is around where I want to add for my next piece. We'll keep an eye on it here. Here comes some buys. You can see a lot of 100K buys coming in at 500K, almost a 200K. Altogether, that's about $1 million there. So you were talking about tick charts, rock solid. This is pretty damn close to a tick chart if you're looking at crypto trading. The 4 hour actually closed a buy there. I didn't catch that. 4 hour closed a buy on the trail. You do have a black candle though, so you would wait for confirmation. Buying right on the wick would be a little risky. You are still above your trail, so you are holding the OTS trail line here. That's the only sketchy thing about this entire short is that trail line. But as you can see, like here, when you have the buys come in on a black candle, you want to wait for confirmation. You never got confirmation on this one, so it got killed. Like this one would have been a little risky too, because you're buying into a massive dump candle. So like here, you got the buys. The white candle was good. The black candles and the gray candles, you would have waited for confirmation. You have the confirmation there on the green candle, and then it pumps up. Or the white candle, excuse me. White for green, black for red. Got some sells coming in. 320,000 just came in. Good seller delta coming in as well. I want to see this liquidity wall be tested at 645. Here comes the bull bounce that I was talking about. The bulls are coming in after funding. I could have waited to add on to my short, but it's a little piece of protection just in case of a massive dump candle. What's going on, Bob? The balls are just volume. They're showcasing volume. Instead of having a volume bar, it's just showing the volume as a ball. The bigger the ball, the more volume. The green and red is pretty self-explanatory. The green is buy volume, red is sell volume. The bars down at the bottom of the screen are the difference between buyers and sellers. So it's a delta. What's going on, Sloth? FSLY? What is that? I've never heard of that in my life. FSLY. Fastly? The hell is Fastly? What does this company even do? It's a cloud programming company? Gotcha. Yeah, looks like they got killed on earnings. We want to see this pop up to this pivot and then get wrecked. That's our goal. All the bulls are coming in as expected. That wall's starting to get a little thicker up here in the 640, 650 range. It does look like it's heading towards that liquidity before it goes lower. This looks a lot like this here. We had that like surge up, pull back, surge up again, pull back. You had two buy signals, black candles, one final pump, and then a trend shift. The same thing here. The only difference is this made a lower high, and this made a higher high. You have that surge up, tap of the trail, pop, double tap, another pop, and then a fail. So you kind of have that pennant forming. One, two, three, four, five down. This one you kind of had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you failed downward. This one was more kind of like a head and shoulders. They're not 100% the same, but I do see similarities. This was actually a really good buy here for a scalp off that little wick that I was telling you guys about. Once you close below this wick, it's going to die. That scalp's up almost 1%. Like I said, I think we will tap this liquidity before going lower. It's still heading that way. You do have a lot of sellers coming in, though. I have buys around 10.7. I'm not entirely set on setting profit targets here, but yeah, I'm looking around the same area. 10.8 to 10.6. We have the auto SR flattening out here, and then we also have this 72 moving average. We look back. We also have what's it on the hourly? We have a pivot around that area as well. Yeah, here we go on the hourly. We have a pivot there as well. But I'm going to let this thing run. So I'm going to use the OTS on this play because I'm betting this off of the previous times that we've shifted. You can see the trend shifted white to black, died, white to black, died, and now we have a white to black shift. So I'm going to hold on to it until it shifts white with confirmation. So you can see all the black shifts were very good shorts. I think it's going to pop up a little bit, maybe try a little scam move, and we should be shifting into a downtrend. But alright guys, so I think I'm going to end stream. It's really hard to focus on what Bitcoin's doing with only one monitor watching these these price movements. Appreciate you guys being here. I will be streaming again tomorrow around the same time, 3 p.m. Eastern. And if you guys are in Discord, I'll update you guys on my Bitcoin trades. I'm still looking to add. We're not in a full position yet. And I'll let you guys know if I'm adding on the breaks to the downside or adding on the bounces. But yeah, we're looking to take a pretty big size position here. So I'll keep you guys updated. Appreciate you guys being here. I will catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.